What's going on, everybody? I'm Tracy from Retired Not Expired Group, and we're continuing on our discussion, video presentations on energy and power options for van lifers and nomads. And keeping with our kind of our policy or our ideals here, we try to keep the conversation and the terminology and stuff very, very simple, just as simple as can be, so that folks that have no idea what's going on with this stuff can kind of get an idea of things and not being talked in a language that they don't understand. So if you're new to this, we appreciate you coming by. Hit the subscribe button down there and get notifications, so when new videos come out, we do them about once a week or so. So let's go ahead and start off with our conversation about charging. So if you remember in our first two videos on this, first of all, we went over how to do an inventory of how much power that you need, and determining how much battery you need to buy and how many things it needs to support. And so we went over that in video one. Video two, we kind of went over the different types of batteries, lead acid versus lithium, and the differences between them, how one could be right for you and the other one not, or vice versa. So again, today we're going to go over we're going to assume that you've done your inventory, you've got your battery, and now you need to figure out how to charge it. So we're going to go over that. There's several different options of how you can charge stuff. First one, and probably the overwhelmingly most popular one, is solar. So the way solar works is you have panels that you hook up that are connected to what's called a charge controller, which is what operates the electrical charge and manages it and distributes it and things like that, and that hooks up to your battery and charges your house battery. Now, contrary to what some people tend to think, you do not operate your stuff directly off of your solar panels, although you could, but most people, you're just going to operate off a battery, and the solar panels are just there to charge your battery with free energy from the sun. So some of the necessities are going to be, number one, you've got to have an area in which you get quite a bit of sun. Doesn't always have to be full sunshine, clear days. You can have a little bit of clouds in there and they'll still work okay. It really kind of depends on how much energy you need to replenish in your battery. If you're a person that uses up a lot of stuff, having a lot of sun may be best for you so you can get the job done. In areas in the northern part of the country where there's not quite so much sun, you can still use solar in the summertime. But again, just kind of keep in mind it's not going to be nearly as efficient as it would be if you were down in the south in Arizona or California, Nevada, places like that. So again, the way solar works is you buy solar panels that are matched up to the voltage of your battery. And those panels accept sun rays and convert that to electricity, which goes into your battery and charges your battery up. So that is one way of charging your batteries, is by solar. The advantages of solar is, once you get the equipment set up, solar is free. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything. There is a fairly high outlay in initial investment as far as buying the panels and cables and controllers and things like that. But you can get a good, let's say if you have a 200 amp hour battery, you can get a battery in a 400 watt solar system, which is fairly common, for around $1,100-$1,200 with good components. But that's the most popular way of doing this, through solar. Another way of charging your battery is through a generator. Now with a generator, the way that works is you need to purchase what is called an AC to DC charger, which just means that it is a battery charger that plugs into a normal outlet and charges your battery up. They go anywhere from probably 5 amps on the low end up to probably 30 amps on the high end. The amount of amps that puts out determines how quickly your battery is going to recharge, and also determines how much the charger is going to cost. I have a 20 amp charger in my system. I think I paid $80 for it, and it works really well. When I do need to use it, I can plug it into the generator and charge my battery up. It takes, depending on how low it is, 4 or 5 hours to get it charged up, but it works well, and it does the job. So in using that then with your generator, You don't need to purchase a really, really large generator. Having the 30,000 or 3,000, 4,000, 8,000, watt systems aren't necessary unless you really do plan on using it for other things, which is fine. I have a 1,000 watt generator that actually puts out 800 all the time watts on 1,000 peak, and I use it strictly just for charging the battery on days when I'm not getting enough sun to run the solar, and it works. It does fine. I can pay $180 for it on Amazon. It does the trick just fine, and for me that works. So you don't have to have an initial outlay of hundreds or thousands of dollars to get a nice generator. And I really do recommend everyone get a generator of some kind. Whether you think you're going to need it or not, there are going to be times in which your solar, if that's what you're using, is not going to charge up as much as you need it to. And you're going to need to have a backup system. Backup upon backup upon backup. That's what I always say. On everything. Back when I worked on computers, I say with your data files, back them up, have backup upon backup. So using generators is one way of charging your batteries in addition to solar. Another way of doing recharging your batteries up is to use wind turbines. People are using them now. They're becoming more and more popular. Obviously, they work in areas where you have wind, which in the desert Southwest usually isn't too much of an issue there, because we get a lot of wind down here, especially in the winter and the spring. We get a lot of wind down here, and so wind turbines work out really well. They tend to be a little on the expensive side, and again, they will not work when there's no wind. But again, it's one of those things where once you do get it set up, get it configured, the cost of the energy after that is free for you to use. So that's another good way of doing it. Another way is through inverters or through controllers. And what I mean by that is there is an item called a DC to DC controller, a DC to DC charger. What those are is those are items, they can either be on their own or sometimes they will be included as part of a solar panel charger. But what they do is you hook that up to your main vehicle battery, and then the other end of it goes into your house battery. And what it will do is it will automatically come on when you're driving your car and will charge your battery up anytime you're driving your car. Very, very convenient. The nice thing about it is you don't need to worry about disconnecting it. You don't need to worry about am I overcharging, am I undercharging, because it takes care of all of that stuff and it does it automatically. So when you're driving, if you do have solar panels, say, mounted on the roof of your vehicle that you use all the time, it will automatically disconnect those and charge up to your car battery, which is being charged by your alternator. So they also have safety measures put in so that you can't totally discharge your car battery and have nothing left and won't be able to start your car. They won't do that. They have voltage regulators and sensors on there that keep you from having to do that and being able to do that. So DC chargers, they're not inexpensive. I have one in combination with a charge controller for my solar, and I think I paid $170, $180 for it both. A 40 amp DC and a solar charge controller. So again, really convenient. They're very, very helpful. Again, they're not terribly inexpensive. They're not terribly expensive. They're not hundreds and hundreds of dollars. But there's another one of the items that's out there that gives you an opportunity to charge your batteries. Another way you can do, and it's kind of related with the AC charger that I discussed previously, was just plugging into a landline. If you've got land-based power that you can plug into, if you're at an RV park or at somebody's house, again, if you've got that AC charger that I discussed, then you can go ahead and plug that into your wall and charge your battery that way. And again, how long it will take to charge that up depends on how many amps that charger is rated for. The higher the amperage, the quicker the battery will charge up. That's a good way of doing it. In fact, some folks will just completely circumvent the battery completely, and when they're in an area like that, they just plug into landline, which is fine. I mean, that's okay, nothing wrong with that. And charge your batteries whenever you get a chance, or not. That's certainly up to you. So that's it. That's our presentation on batteries as far as getting them charged. If you've got any other ideas or suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments down below, or you can also contact us at retirednotekspiredgroup@gmail.com. Otherwise, until our next video, aloha, take care, happy travels, and have a great day. Bye-bye.